Hello everyone. Welcome to Happy Science Meditation Seminar. I'm Bob Imai, Minister of Happy Science. Thank you for coming today. Today also we are going to study the true Eightfold Path. First of all, let us recite Prayer to the Lord. Prayer to the Lord. Our Lord, El Cantare, you are the source of all light, all power, all wisdom, and all love. May you give us light, give us power, give us wisdom, and give us love. O Lord, our Father, please protect this planet of Earth. Protect us from all evil, and open a future for us. O Lord, thank you for giving us light. We give thanks from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you again for joining us today. As I mentioned before, we study the true Eightfold Path today. The Eightfold Path is a reflection method to discover the true self, which is the right state of mind that can be found by examining our thoughts and deeds objectively. Shakyamuni Buddha, 2600 years ago, established 8 checkpoints through which people can examine their own thoughts and deeds, such as right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right living, right effort, right will, and right meditation. Righteousness in the Eightfold Path does not imply a simple set of model behaviors against which people can judge themselves to be right or wrong. It means a right state that can only be attained through deep contemplation. Today's subject is right thought, open mind. What we should do is to have the right mind, which is in accordance with God or Buddha's mind. There are many attitudes to approach the right mind. The first attitude is an open and receptive mind. In order to learn a higher dimensional teaching, we ought to be open enough to accept it. Otherwise, the teaching would pass you by. It is just as if light is refracted and does not reach to you. While you are living on earth, you may have a title, a position, educational background, or good appearance. But when you find that you are only a tiny point in this great space created by God, you will notice that you cannot possibly measure the whole world with your tiny, tiny mind. You should not forget this prerequisite. Therefore, in order to know the world created by God and the intention of God, you should first make yourself humble and innocent. Then, what in the world obstructs such a mind? Here we find the sort of shell or hardness that has been formed by ourselves in the last several tens of years. This shell of ego is the obstacle in your way of life that you have so far asserted to be all right. There is a shell or something that binds you in a frame. It is this shell that prevents you from being open-minded. Therefore, you have to first check to see whether or not you have ever formed a sort of shell with your own particular tendencies, views, way of life, and so on. If you check this, you will perhaps find something in your way of life that is distinct from ordinary people. That distinct part may be considered positive or negative. In either case, the fact that you have that distinct part indicates that you have certainly formed a kind of shell in your way of thinking or living. Therefore, when you look back on your past days, you had better first check to see what part of you was most distinct from others and the cause of your life. Even if your way of life was a negative, and you somehow had overcome it by your own effort, you must have formed something hard in your own way. You must have had many different kinds of difficulties. A physical handicap, for instance, some of you may have had the handicap quite different from others. You may have endeavored to overcome it or failed to do so. In either case, I am sure that you have formed a sort of shell in the process of this struggle. One may form a shell because of one's good family background. A shell can be formed when one is of extremely good birth. One's parents are remarkably great, or one's family is extraordinarily rich. The opposite is the shell that is formed because of poverty. There are people who have experienced poverty for too long and cannot set their mind free from it. Or there are people who had a miserable experience in their childhood. Either or both of their parents may have died or may have divorced or remarried. As a consequence, such extraordinary circumstances must have influenced their mind in some way or other. The same holds true of talent. There are people who are extremely talented in some field that will perhaps have both bright and dark side. Naturally, those who are excellent in an academic field will have both merits and demerits. As merits, they are competent to engage in various intellectual or intelligent professions. But on the other hand, they tend to get into trouble in human relationships. They are likely to be dark and shy, or apt to think ill of, mistrust, or hate others. Some of them may be living only with an inferiority complex, and others may have taken great pains to overcome their worries. In either case, they must have at least formed a sort of shell. Thus, in order to encounter your true self, you must first find such a shell. As long as you continue to excuse your present condition by attributing it to your special circumstances, you can never make yourself humble and receptive. You can never open your heart. First, you have to eliminate any excuses of your own special circumstances. Otherwise, you will never attain right thought. You have to first rid of such a shell, which everybody has. Now let us watch Master Oka's lecture titled Egolessness, the Theory of Salvation. Egolessness, the Theory of Salvation.
Master Ryuho Kawa's lecture, Egolessness, the Theory of Salvation. Now, let me talk about the reason Shakyamuni Buddha taught egolessness. One of the reasons he emphasized egolessness was to teach that the cause of suffering lies mostly in attachment. And attachment is something to which your mind constantly clings. At the root of attachment lies the ego or self, the thought of I or me. In other words, a self-centered, biased perspective, based on what is convenient for you. Most suffering is caused by a self-centered perspective or selfish desires. Of the 8 pains experienced in life, the pain of not getting what you want is the most typical of this kind of suffering. This pain of not getting what you want is rooted in the ego, because you have the thought, this is me. You have the thought, this is mine. If there is no thought, this is me, there will be no thought, this is mine. You may think, he is my lover, she is my wife, they are my children, they are my parents, this is my home, this is my land, this is my camera, this is my purse, this is my money, this is my checkbook, this is my business card, this is my desk, this is my chair, this is my tombstone, and so on. First, there is the thought of I or me, and this leads to the idea this is mine. Your sense of possession gives rise to attachment. In order to abandon such attachment, you have to let go of the thought, this is mine. What is your true being? The creator of the universe, the primordial Buddha, wanted to bring the humans into being as a manifestation of light. This is the origin of your true self, which you must not forget. When you remember the origin of your existence, you can become one with Buddha. The teaching of egolessness should be examined from 2 different angles. The idea of egolessness was not meant to imply that there is no such thing as the physical self. The essential nature of egolessness first requires that you become one with Buddha. Without being egoless, you cannot become one with Buddha. If you are not too concerned about yourself, Buddha's light cannot come shining into you. The Buddhist approach to becoming one with Buddha is through self-reflection and meditation, while the Christian approach is through prayer to God. You can become one with the divine through praying wholeheartedly to God. Another way to become truly egoless is the path of altruism or loving others. Live for the benefit of others. Feel others' pain and sorrow as if it were your own, and feel others' joy and happiness as your own. Live with a loving heart. This is also a way to achieve the state of egolessness. In short, there are two ways to become truly egoless. The first is to become one with Buddha, and the second is to become one with other people. This is the teaching of egolessness, which is a path for improving and nurturing your soul. Those who go to hell after they die all have some attachment to the ego or to their possessions. Some still wander the earth as stray spirits possessing those on earth, clinging to their spouse or children, or to their former home on earth. Some cling to the land they owned, others to their tombstone. There are even those who cling to their desk at the office where they worked when they were alive. They are called earthbound spirits. The cause of their attachment is their ego. Unless they eliminate their ego, they cannot be free from attachments. Heaven is an altruistic world where all the inhabitants live for the benefit of others. This is the state of being egoless. They do not live to benefit themselves, rather, they live to benefit others. Whether you return to heaven or hell depends on whether or not you can eliminate your ego. However, although this may sound paradoxical, the ego must be eliminated while simultaneously being refined and developed. Spiritual discipline is something you undertake for your own benefit. It is a way of improving yourself. And in this context, the ego or self may be perceived to be something that is allowed to exist. If your self-discipline is in the direction of the will of Buddha, it will lead you to become one with Buddha, and eventually you will approach the state of egolessness. Similarly, if your self-discipline is directed towards the path of altruism, then you will also be led to the state of egolessness. Devoting yourself to your own study, setting aside time for yourself, and taking care of your own health are necessary as part of your self-discipline. These attitudes may seem to increase your ego, but as long as you are moving in the direction of Buddha, an altruistic direction, you are approaching the state of egolessness. But if your self-development results in attachment to the things of this world, or to the earthly way of life, then you are on the wrong path, will eventually lead you to hell. Earlier, I talked about the famous Buddhist scholar who, in spite of having studied all of the Buddhist scriptures and accomplished great things in academic circles, failed to understand the true meaning of Buddha's teachings on egolessness. In the history of Buddhism, such confusion arose as a result of misunderstandings on the part of many of Buddha's disciples, so we could say it was inevitable that this scholar would not understand. Sadly, these are the limitations of those who have studied Buddhism from only an intellectual standpoint. There may be some readers who also study the truth in that way, and will leave behind them the same kind of mistakes. However, an intellectual explanation of the teachings would be meaningless if it did not contribute to the salvation of others. I would like to declare clearly that even if some great metaphysical theory were to be expounded, if it did not help promote happiness, it would be futile. Although there can be all sorts of theories about spiritual teachings, these should not be used in a way that will lead people astray or not contribute to people's salvation. Actually, more than half the people living on earth at this time are on the wrong track and are bound for hell. So it is imperative that the Dharma be explained in a way that can help save those who have gone astray. If you become entangled in philosophical or metaphysical discussions, there will be no salvation for either yourself or others. Please keep in mind always that the very purpose of disseminating the teachings is salvation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Master. How was the Master Oka's lecture? He showed us that in order to become one with God, you have to get rid of the attachments. The shell of ego is the cause of the attachments. To become opening mind, we have to know the shell of ego and get rid of our attachments. Now let us practice self-reflection on the shell of your ego that obstructs you from being open-minded. Please check like this. Look back on your past from birth to the present and find that part of you was most distinct from others. Look back on your past from birth to the present and find what part of you was most distinct from others. Look back from birth to age 5. Look back from age 5 to 10. Look back from age 10 to 12, 10 to 20. Look back from age 20 to the present. Second process, if you find that distinct part, check whether or not you have formed a kind of shell that determines your way of thinking or living. You may have formed a sort of shell in the process of your struggle to overcome a physical handicap. You may have formed a shell because of a particular family background. Did an experience in your childhood influence your mind? For example, your parents may have died or may have divorced or remarried, or you may not have been so wealthy. A great talent you had may have caused you to create a negative tendency. These are checkpoints in the process of self-reflection to find your shell of ego. Firstly, let us recite prayer to guardian and guiding spirits. Prayer to guardian and guiding spirits. My guardian and guiding spirits, deep inside of me, you are the fountain of life, the light of hope, the source of wisdom, and the shield of courage. Every day, may you help me develop my soul and refine my mind. Every day, may you give me inspiration and show me the right path to follow. Please protect me from all evil and guide me in living a better life. For this, I give my thanks. So let us practice right thought now. Sit straight and relax your neck and shoulder. Close your eyes lightly. Start breathing deeply. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Breathe deeply and try to calm your mind. Now let us begin the self-reflection. Checkpoints and the process are shown on the screen. Please begin. How was the reflection? Could you find the shell of your ego? Now let us practice meditation, meditation of God. Just follow the guidance. Let us start.
Please straighten your back and take deep breaths for a while. Once your breathing calms, please keep your eyes half closed. You need not to close your eyes completely, nor open them widely. Just lightly focus your eyes on the floor 1 to 2 meters ahead of you. Then imagine you will receive light from heaven through your spine. There is a golden pipe along your spine, extending from your head to the heavenly world. Through the golden pipe, light from the heavenly world will stream down. This pipe is about 5 centimeters in diameter. Visualize this golden pipe running through your spine up to heaven. I will now send you light through the pipe from the heavenly world. I will send you light of heaven with the help of your guardian and guiding spirits. I will ask them to pour light into you through the pipe. So, please receive the light of heaven. Once you've received the light, circulate it throughout your whole body. Now I will begin to send you the light. Imagine the light is penetrating deep into your body. Let this golden light flow through your head, neck, left shoulder, right shoulder, chest, stomach, and then right leg, left leg. Fill every part of your body with the golden light. Imagine that you are becoming a shining golden statue of Buddha. Fill your whole body with the light and imagine that you are a golden statue of Buddha. Now you have become a golden statue of Buddha. The golden color is not just the surface. I mean, your body is not just covered with gold leaf. Imagine that your entire body is made of solid gold. Your whole body is solid gold. You are beginning to cast the light from within. This is your aura. Now let this aura radiate around yourself about 50 centimeters in diameter. You are a golden statue of Buddha, radiating the aura about 50 centimeters around you. Then you can broaden out your aura. The aura is growing to 1 meter around you. You are the golden statue of Buddha, radiating the golden aura of 1 meter in diameter. Now, imagine your aura is expanding to the diameter of 2 meters around you, 2 meters in diameter. If you see yourself from the front, you would see a great golden halo behind you. Expand your aura to 3 meters. This is an even bigger light. Expand the aura further to 5 meters. The infinite light of heaven is pouring into you from above, and it's scattering around you. The light of 5 meters in diameter is spreading in all directions, and the space around you is shining gold. Finally, imagine your aura is expanded to 10 meters, and you are sitting in the middle of the light. You are sitting in the huge golden orb of light with a diameter of 10 meters. Now open your eyes slowly and end your meditation. Open your eyes gently and relax your shoulders. This is what we call the meditation of a golden statue of Buddha. You receive the light from heaven and turn your body into a shining golden statue of Buddha. You see your body radiating the aura. Then you gradually expand the aura, and finally you see yourself sitting in the middle of a huge orb of light. The way of meditation is such, but in order to master this meditation, you really need to have attained the enlightenment of Tathagata. There are great Buddha statues in Nara and Kamakura creating calm vibrations, in order to be able to think of yourself embraced in a great abundant light with such gentle vibrations as Buddha statues. You must have a generous state of mind without any attachments. And the greater your soul's capacity is, the more light of heaven you can receive. The size of aura may be different for each person, but it is possible for everyone to have the aura as large as 1 meter in diameter at least, if you have trained to some extent. I hope you all reach that level.
How was your meditation? Your true self is the energy, just like a golden light. Eightfold Path is a method to restore your true self as a divine nature. So please practice every day. Thank you for joining us today. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.